Alright, so today I figured I'd work on my intake here. So I have the K&N FIPK Intake, and it's a great intake for what it is. It's advertised or marketed as a cold air intake, but in my opinion, it's not really a cold air intake because this intake in particular actually has a problem with heat soaking. And because you can see it's pretty close to the engine, it's also pretty close to the radiator here. A true cold air intake would actually go further down below. The benefit of this intake is that it does provide gains. Like, it has been proven to provide gains, but it does suffer from heat soaking. So the best case scenario is to actually just go back to the OEM intake, but I don't actually have an OEM intake right now. I think in the future maybe I will buy one, but right now this is all I have, so I'm going to work with what I have, and I'm going to try my best to battle with the heat soaking issue. So I bought two things to help battle heat soak. So the first thing I bought is this DEI heat resistant gold tape. So I used this on my SI, and I did see some internal, I did see the intake temperatures go down, which was great. So I figured I buy another pack and try it on the S2. So Amazon actually sent me the wrong one. I actually ordered another roll, but they sent me a whole sheet. But it's fine. They're sending me a replacement, so it kind of works out. But yeah, so this is supposed to help with the intake temperatures, and basically you wrap it all around the intake arm and you wrap it on the outside of the intake box. The way the gold wrap works is that it deflects heat off of it. So some people say, oh, you should wrap it on the inside, but that's not actually true, because then what you're doing is you're deflecting the heat back to the intake. So you only wrap it on the outside, and you also wrap it on the arm. The second thing I bought is a AEM filter. So this filter is actually slightly larger, but also it's a dry filter. It's not oiled like this K&N one. And if you do a bit more research on the K&N intake, recently people have been saying that, the K&N intake actually doesn't do a very good job at filtering debris. So that debris that filters through the intake actually ends up in your engine, and it could cause like scoring on the cylinders and whatnot. And yeah, so it's a controversial opinion, I guess, but some people are really saying that the K&N intake isn't a good option. But also, because it's an oiled intake, that can also cause issues, because the oil sometimes seeps into the engine also, or it gunks up your throttle body. So for me personally, I think I'm going to give this AEM a try. I've seen a couple people on Reddit and S2KI, they use this AEM intake, slightly larger, so it'll suck in a bit more air. And this is the part number here. That's the part number. And yeah, and then I guess we'll go from there. So first things first, I think I'm gonna completely remove the arm. It'll make this job a lot easier. And yeah, and then clean it with some rubbing alcohol. I also just wanted to add, like, the whole reason why I'm doing this is because, yeah, I am experiencing heat soak. On a really, really hot day, after maybe 20 minutes of driving or spirited driving, you will feel the car doesn't run as efficiently as it should. And I think that's definitely because of the heat soak. So I'm hoping that doing the wrap, the gold heat resistant wrap, and changing the filter will help assist with that. But I think the best case scenario is to actually just buy an OEM intake and do the airbox mod, the LHT airbox mod. Alright, so let's compare the two filters here. We got the K&N Intake filter here, and then the AM. AM one is slightly larger, and this is the, I guess, the velocity stack or whatever it's called that comes with the K&N filter. And it does fit the AM, which is good. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping the air box. And this is what Amazon accidentally sent to me. It was supposed to be another roll of tape, but they sent me a sheet instead. This actually might work out though. Make it easier to cut. So I think the best course of action here is to cut these into strips, I guess. And then that way I can just wrap the strip around. I guess that kind of makes sense. So the air box has been wrapped. So I started out doing a neat job, but I feel like no matter how careful you are, wrinkles are gonna happen, so. All right, so the trick to applying this tape is you don't actually want to apply it like so. You don't want to apply it on a whole roll like that. Instead, you actually want to apply it in strips. So you cut it there, you apply one strip, you get the other strip, and overlap it. So to find out how big you have to cut the strips, you get your masking tape. Place it down. And just wrap it around. Okay, so that's roughly what you need. So I'm basically using this as a template of how long of a strip I have to cut from the heat rod. Alright, so I'm going to start using the masking tape I used as a template. Start cutting what I need. Alright, so we got the first strip here. Now, from the videos I've been watching, it's recommended that you actually start from the back and work your way up to the front. And the reason why is because this will allow for a cleaner overlapping. All right, so one thing what I realized is that I'm actually going to start the tape a little bit after the lip, and this is because this rubber area is going to cover part of that. And I guess I don't really want like the gold wrap to go inside of there. All right, so when it comes to the corners here, or a bend, it's actually recommended to cut this in half, or split into two, and then wrap it around. It's supposedly a lot easier to do that around bends, less wrinkles that way. Alright, so this is what the intake looks so far. Finally got the other roll from Amazon. Gonna finish it up. So you don't want to make the overlaps too large. You want to keep it a pretty consistent overlap. As you can see here. Like I said, it's pretty hard to get the wrinkles out, so just do your best, I guess. Alright, so that's how it looks, completely wrapped to the end. We pop this back on. Oh nice, it fits right over. And like I said before, I left a bit of space here at the end. That way it can fit into the coupler and not, I guess, have any fitment issues. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get this back on the car. This is a good time to inspect your throttle body, make sure it's clean and there's no gunk inside of it. So just a size comparison, K&N filter, AEM filter, quite a size difference. So I'm really hoping this fits. Alright, looks like I'm gonna have to move the horn. Just gonna have to detach this horn to fit the filter first. Alright, so I think it's easier to put the rubber coupler on first. Yeah. There we go. And then slide this on afterwards. So you make sure the logo is in the right orientation. Okay. Alright, so that's basically how the intake's gonna look. In comparison, that's how it used to look. So yeah, just gotta connect everything back up. The engine bay looks pretty good. I actually like the gold. Make sure everything's tight. Hoses are back on. I forgot what this is called. And make sure this is connected, screwed back in. This is tight. This clamp is tight. I had to flip the horn the other way around in order to fit this filter, but yeah, no, it looks good. It's just a matter of taking it out for a drive on a nice hot day, and then that will determine whether or not this heat wrap is effective against heat soak. You know what? I think I'm gonna add a strip of reflective tape here also. I don't know if it's gonna be any help, but and the reason why I think I should apply some tape here is because the radiator is right here. So maybe if I apply some tape, it'll help deflect some of that heat away from the radiator. But yeah, the box has also been wrapped. So in theory, the gold wrap here will deflect the heat from the engine, and this from the engine here, and also the heat from the radiators. So yeah, hopefully it helps bring down the temperatures.
Several days later.
Alright, so I've been driving around for some time now, and honestly, the car drives great. Like, I don't feel any bogginess. I don't feel like the car is struggling to get up to RPMs or anything. And it's a pretty hot day today. It's not too humid though. I don't know if that's gonna play a huge factor, but it is a pretty hot day today. Yeah, so far, like I've been driving around for maybe 30 minutes now, and so far I haven't noticed any sort of heat soak. I'm not saying that this I'm not saying that the heat wrap is a full-on solution, but I do think it is a decent enough fix. The wrap itself probably costs about 80 bucks Canadian. So for 80 bucks, you know, it's not too bad. You get a great intake, great sounding intake, and you reduce the intake temperatures also. So there's not a whole lot of traffic right now, but I'm purposely taking a longer way just so I could be stuck in traffic, and that way we can actually see if the car really is going to suffer from heat soak. I'm actually heading to Honda right now just to pick up some other parts. Before I did the heat wrap, by now I probably would have experienced some heat soak. But right now it seems to be doing a really good job. Like, the car is driving great right now. There we go, we got a decent amount of traffic here. I might be the only person on the planet purposely trying to find traffic. Yo, that guy looks like Donald Trump, no? Kirkland brand Trump. So, I'm still driving in stop and go traffic, still no issues. Like, I'm really happy with how this wrap is turning out. I just wish maybe it was a bit hotter and a bit more humid. That way I could really put it to the test. But so far, like, it's driving great, man. Driving around in stop and go traffic for like 15-20 minutes now, and before this I was doing some spirited driving for maybe 10-12 minutes. So alright, so I just arrived at Honda, so I think that's it for the video. I definitely recommend wrapping. If you have a K&N intake, I 100% recommend that you wrap it in some sort of heat resistant wrap. It does seem to help out a lot, and yeah, if you do end up wrapping it, let me know how it goes. And let me know if you experience any changes in air intake temperatures.